no one would say this on camera, but even if you go to Dubai and you speak to the blue collar Pakistani workers, the laborers there, the some of the people who are driving the taxis, they'll all tell you that, hey, my family is in a good economic condition because I'm in Dubai or Abu Dhabi and I'm able to send money back. I would not have been able to take care of my family if I was working in Pakistan. That's the economic truth of the country. And this is a unanimous input I get from every Pakistani I
There's
meet.
a lot of despondency.
Yeah. In your eyes, this is the long term effect of the military being the actual showrunners in the country.
In large part, because the military has instilled a level of instability in the country. See, the military thinks that I have made Pakistan stable. If it was not for me, Pakistan would have disintegrated, right? That's the military's line. But what has the military done? Every 2 or 3 years, it conspires against whichever government has been elected by the people. It has now, in the last election, for example, in 2024, Imran Khan had won the election despite all odds. Okay. And I don't think anybody really expected him to win an election. Now he wins an election, and yet you change the election results in the night. In the dark of the night, you change the election results. People who did not win more than 15, 20 seats, you gave them 80 seats and you've put them in government. People like Shahbaz Sharif and all. They had lost the election, right? You've made them in government. Now they have no legitimacy. This is not the first time they've done something like this. So they have destabilized government after government. They've brought in their favorites. As a result, there is so much political uncertainty in Pakistan that, why would anybody want to invest in a country like that? Then they have played around with terrorism, thinking that jihadism is a great tool for foreign policy. Okay. You played with that. You messed around with the Americans when they were in Afghanistan. You allowed this Taliban monster to be recreated. Now it's coming back to haunt you. Okay. You allowed guns to be spread in the country. Now there is a massive law and order problem. If you look at the street crime statistics in Pakistan, they've gone through the roof. Part of it is because there are no economic opportunities left, right? Everything which you can look at, you can trace it back to certain policies that the army brought in and the interference of the army in Pakistan's political life, in economic life. Today, now they're making economic policy. And what is the economic policy they are making? And I'll just give you this one example. They've decided that they're going to go in for corporate farming, which means that they will have millions of acres of land which they will irrigate, which water they don't have. Okay. They'll build canals to bring water into that desert area and irrigate millions of acres of land in Punjab to then supply food to Saudi Arabia, UAE, China. That's corporate farming model. All the land will be controlled by the army. Those organizations which they have formed are controlled by the army. So the civilians are out. Nobody is going to be allowed in. And Sindh is up in arms because they say you have no water. You are going to take our share of water. You are going to make Sindh into a desert to make the desert in Punjab green. Now, this is, on the face of it, it is a disastrous thing to do. And yet the Pakistan army is doing it. And why are they doing it? Because they think this will make Pakistan great again. So, all the problems in Pakistan in one way or another can be traced back to the army's interference in political life in Pakistan.
We've had countless economists on the show speak about India's economic history, and the one truth I've learned is that an economist will feel a bunch of things in theory based on their own life's work, but you never know about the practical aspect of how those theories play out with your own population, with your own geography, until those theories are turned into laws and real world changes.
Ranveer, this is what happens. A technocrat is a person who might be an expert in his field, but there are a lot of other things. So, what does a politician do? What is a politician's job? He is supposed to have basic common sense and an ear to the ground of what will work and what will not work, what will be acceptable to people and what will not be acceptable to people. Now, the most elegant economic theory will be a flop if it's not acceptable to the people. If people don't have ownership of a theory, it will not be acceptable to them. You can't have that policy in place. So you have to have policy in place which people can relate to. So an economist will come out with policies. A politician's job is to fine tune those policies to make them acceptable. An army guy, when he acts as the politician, he is not trained to be a politician. His brain is not wired either by training or by experience to behave like a politician. You can do that low cunning kind of a thing, but there is a lot more which you need to do uh, to make policies acceptable, to sell them to people, to give them ownership. The army is not equipped to do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see all this from an anthropological perspective in terms of what has gone wrong on a human level. Effectively, what are countries? If we see it from an ancient man perspective, these are tribes, and the leadership is running the tribe. Now, the leadership in our country is a combination of the bureaucracy, the politicians, the government, etc. Uh, all these people are trained along the individual pathways of life. In Pakistan, when a young person is trying to get into the military, perhaps there's an element of, hey, I actually might be in administration at the age of 50 or 60. That's a fair,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah, you're
reality.
becoming part of the ruling class.
But is this known by the general population? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
the masses understand that the military runs the country,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
How are they okay with it?
They're not okay with it. But what is the choice they have? In the last couple of years, we have seen a massive reaction develop. So in Punjab, there is the unwashed masses who probably did not have a very high opinion of the army, but still supported the army. But the real support of the army came from the upper middle class, the well heeled people in Punjab, the Lahori elite, as they are called. Now, these are doctors, judges, these are businessmen, these are people who are in the bureaucracy, these are professionals, chartered accountants, the really well heeled people of society. Uh, Today, what you are seeing is that across the board in Punjab, there is a lot of abuse being heaped on the army, and the army is being called out for all the problems it has created in Pakistan. Okay, it is being challenged. Now, what the army is doing is they're trying to suppress those voices. They're bringing in all kinds of draconian laws to suppress anybody who says anything which is remotely against the army. They're not going to succeed because things are reaching a point where there's a lot of disgust for the army. Now, of course, the army will trot out some people from the media and other organizations to propagate that the army is the savior of Pakistan, the valiant sons of Pakistan who are fighting against the infidel enemy who is trying to sabotage Pakistan, undo Pakistan. All that propaganda is going on. Nobody is buying it, right? Nobody is buying. Not in the other provinces, not in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, Sindh. Nobody is buying it. Not even in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Even in Pakistan occupied Kashmir today, the army is being pilloried, and most of all, it's being pilloried in the Punjab. So, like I said earlier, for them, the image problem which they now suffer from is probably the most debilitating crisis they face.